Have you ever really stopped to think about it? A massive oak tree, something that can live for hundreds of years? Why on earth does it drop all its leaves every single year? It seems almost wasteful, right? But it's not weakness, not at all. It's actually a masterclass in survival strategy. And today, we're going to dive deep into the amazing biology behind how and why plants let go. So yeah, that's the big question. Why do the leaves fall? On the surface, it seems so simple. But what's really going on is this incredibly coordinated two-part performance. You've got one process that's all about aging and recycling every last valuable bit, and another completely separate process that's about making a clean, precise break. We're going to see exactly how these two dances work together. All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get the big picture, the art of letting go. Then, we'll zoom right into a single leaf to see what's happening inside. After that, we'll look at the great separation, how the break actually happens. Then we get to the good stuff, the hormonal tug-of-war controlling everything. And finally, we'll see how we can actually hack this system. Okay, section 1, the art of letting go. And I really want to stress this. This process is not about dying or decay in a negative sense, not at all. For a plant, dropping a leaf or a flower or even a piece of fruit is a totally calculated strategic move. It's the final, planned-out step in a program that's all about helping the whole plant thrive. So, there are two key words we gotta get straight right from the start: senescence and abscission. Senescence is the process of aging. It's the leaf turning from green to yellow. Think of it as the leaf carefully executing its retirement plan. Abscission, on the other hand, is the event. It's the leaf actually physically falling off the branch. That's the retirement party itself. Two totally distinct things, but they are absolutely linked. And why go through all this trouble? Well, it all boils down to survival and pure, ruthless efficiency. You know, if you're an annual plant, your whole mission is to pour every last drop of energy and nutrients into your seeds for the next generation. If you're a massive tree, it's about hunkering down for the winter, storing precious nitrogen in your bark and making sure your branches don't get weighed down and broken by snow. It's just an amazing, flexible strategy that's adapted for practically every environment on Earth. Okay, so that's the why, but what about the how? Let's zoom in. Way in. We're going to go inside one of these retiring leaves and see the cellular machinery kick into gear. What actually happens on a microscopic level when a leaf gets that fateful signal, your time is up? Really, the best way to think about it is like a super efficient factory shutdown. I mean, imagine a factory's closing. You wouldn't just walk away and leave everything to rust, right? No way. You'd bring in a specialized crew to carefully take apart the most valuable machines, pack up all the useful raw materials, and ship them off to other parts of the company that can still use them. In the world of plants, absolutely nothing goes to waste. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This diagram looks intense. But don't worry about all the little details. This is just a picture of our factory shutdown in action. All you need to focus on is that big green thing, the chloroplast. That's the solar panel of the leaf. And the big takeaway here is that it's not just falling apart. It's being systematically taken to pieces, and all those valuable components are being neatly packaged up and shipped out. This is the opposite of chaos. It's pure, organized efficiency. So we can actually boil that whole complicated diagram down to 3 simple steps. Step 1, dismantle. You take apart the powerhouses, those chloroplasts. Step 2, package. All those valuable bits and pieces get sealed up into these tiny biological shipping containers. And step 3, remobilize. You ship those packages of nutrients out of the leaf using the plant's own internal highway system, the phloem. And all this happens before the leaf ever thinks about falling off. And if you're wondering just how important this recycling program is, get this. There's a super important protein for photosynthesis called rubisco. And up to 50%, half, of all the nitrogen in a leaf is tied up in just this one molecule. When you hear that, it suddenly makes sense why the plant goes to such extreme lengths to get it back, right? It's an absolutely mind-boggling feat of resource management. All right, so the factory is officially closed for business. All the valuable assets have been shipped out. So now what? How does the plant actually make that final clean cut? Well, that brings us to the second part of our story, the mechanics of abscission. The secret lies in a special, predetermined breaking point. It's called the abscission zone, or AZ for short. And it's this tiny, specialized layer of cells right there at the base of the leaf stem that's basically just waiting. Its whole life it's been on standby, ready for the one signal that tells it to start the separation. Okay, so these next few images are going to show us exactly how this goes down, cell by cell. Let's start with before. This is a healthy leaf, firmly attached. See those cells in the abscission zone, the AZ? They're packed in tight, really compact, holding everything together like glue. The connection is totally solid.
But now, the signal's been sent. The countdown has begun. Specialized enzymes get to work, and their only job is to dissolve the glue between those cells. As that glue starts to melt away, you can literally see the cells in the abscission zone start to change shape, to loosen up, to pull apart. The grip is weakening. And here we are, the final moment. The leaf breaks away. But look closely. At the very same time, the plant is already forming a protective layer right on the stem side of the break. It's like it's building a scab in real time, sealing the wound to prevent infections or water loss. It's not a messy tear. It's a perfect, surgical, clean break.
So when you break it all down, it's a beautifully simple two-step dance. Step 1, dissolve the connections. Step 2, form a protective scar. That's it. So elegant. Okay, but who's the director of this whole play? Who's calling the shots, telling the leaf when to start recycling and when to finally let go? Well, the answer is this invisible, silent conversation happening inside the plant all the time. It's a chemical tug-of-war between different hormones. It's easiest to think of it as team stay versus team go. On team stay, you've got your growth promoters, the hormones that are screaming, hang on, keep growing. Then you've got team go, with hormones that are the messengers of aging, shouting, it's time, let go. The entire fate of that leaf, whether it stays or goes, just comes down to which team is winning that hormonal tug-of-war at any given moment.
So how do these hormonal signals actually make something happen? Well, that's where this comes in. There's a master switch gene called RE1. When Team Go wins the tug of war, they basically get to flip this switch. And once RE1 is flipped on, it does two things at once. It turns on all the genes for that factory shutdown and recycling program, and it turns off all the genes for keeping the solar panels running. It is quite literally the point of no return for that leaf. And then, for that final, dramatic act, the actual separation, a totally different messenger steps onto the stage. Think of this little molecule, IDA, as a specific key. It travels to the abscission zone, finds the right lock on the outside of those special cells, and clicks it open. That single action sets off a chain reaction inside the cell that screams one final command, release the glue-dissolving enzymes. And poof, the leaf is gone.
Which brings us to the really cool part. Okay, so we've seen the entire playbook, right? We know about the cells, the hormones, that master switch. So the big question is, can we hack it? Can we rewrite the script? And the answer is a huge, resounding yes.
And scientists have come up with some seriously clever ways to do this. I mean, they can rig a plant to start pumping out its own team stay hormones right when it starts to get old. They can go in and silence that ORE1 master switch to keep leaves green and productive for longer, which actually boosts tomato harvests. Or, and this is my favorite, they can make flowers basically deaf to the Team Go signal. And the result? It's not a small change. It's stunning. Just by making flowers unable to hear that let go signal, we can make them last in a vase up to 5 times longer. That's the kind of power you get when you really understand this deep, fundamental biology.
So, at the end of the day, senescence and abscission, they're not really about death at all, are they? They're about smart, efficient, sustainable life. It's this beautiful system of resource management that's been perfected over 1 billion years of evolution. And it really just leaves me with this one big question. In our own world, where we constantly struggle with waste and inefficiency, what else could we learn from a plan's ancient blueprint for knowing how and when to let go?